Well, the best part is in the midst of me taking a chance and a challenge of attempting to do a recording on my computer, I was able to learn that now I can actually upload videos or posts that are longer than 15 minutes. So I guess this turned out being a win-win situation after all. What's going on, y'all? I don't know if I'm doing this as the past, if I'm doing this as BT, but I'm just coming on to do a video. I used to record a lot of YouTube videos a while back, and then I kind of took a bit of a break, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna upload and do some recordings again. I just needed to figure out what the best way was, what was the simplest way to go about doing it. So I sat, broke it down, really looked at it, and kind of put the pieces together and realized, you know what, I do have OBS, open broadcast software for streaming, even though I don't really stream on this laptop, but I still do actually do streams from time to time on Twitch, twitch.tv/PazPodcast, shameless plug. But I just wanted to come to you all and just kind of, we're kind of at a unique point of the year, where it's the halfway point of the year, just to some degree. We've just surpassed, I'm sorry I look like a mess because I literally just finished cutting grass, so if I don't look normal, it is what it is. But we just passed spring. I don't know what language I'm speaking. We just surpassed spring, and now we're in summer, and you'll feel the summer, you'll notice summer. There are a lot of people who are gonna have their appropriate attire for summer. Some folks will need to be reminded what to wear and what not to wear, and what imagination should be left to those who don't need to know what they do or don't have on. And it's a time of a lot of vacationing, a lot of reflection, a lot of preparation for, you know, if anyone has kids, preparing them for, you know, enjoying some downtime and some R&R. I'm sorry, I'm like randomly having ADD moments, but some R&R with friends and family, and then before you blink, back to fall, and then school's back in session. For some college students, they'll be starting back to school, and that'll be a big change and a huge transition as well. But I kind of wanted to record this today to just give everyone that time and that opportunity to know that if you have something you're trying to work on, and you have a brand, or you have something that you've put off and you've given yourself different reasons or excuses, or I'm not doing this because of X, Y, and Z, right now might be the best time to stop, sit back, and really say, is that really the reason why I'm not doing X, Y, or Z? And if you're not doing it because you're not able to, or if you're unable to do it, then that's understandable, but it also means that you need to be finding ways and opportunities to improve on getting that task or that achievement accomplished. I know for me, you know, I always use my podcast as an example. A few years ago, podcasting was just something I did to kind of kill time. Like, I would sit and I would record an episode, I would talk about what I needed to say, and then kind of kept it moving. So I'm sorry, this is where learning is still new, because I'm looking at this and I see the camera, but I'm looking at my screen, so I'm probably like looking and reading, but I'm gonna focus because I haven't done my YouTube flow in a while. But I just want people to know, it's just because it's July does not mean that, okay, the year's halfway over, I haven't finished anything, so I'm done and I'm complete. So if you have something that you know you're capable of doing, and something that could be shared to help someone else, share it and do what that thing is. Do whatever that thing is, and make your passion known to others that you have a gift or you have a skill. I feel as though we have skills and we have talents, but we're afraid to share them, or we're afraid to show them, because it's the fear of the unknown, but it's also the fear of rejection that really challenges us the most, or the quickest. And here's why I say that. I always know for a fact that there are things there are skills that I have, or certain talents that I've been able to do, and I've been in my own way for the longest time. If any of you all know me, I usually carry different messages or different quotes into a new year. So last year, if you know, before, or at one point, it was Building last year, it was being accountable and getting out of your own way, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, were in their own way, and they blamed everyone else for things not going the way they expected them to go, when in reality you have control over what is or isn't being done. And that also requires you to be accountable and say, hey, I was wrong, hey, I messed up, hey, I made a mistake. You know, this is 2017. You know, I always tell this story, I always talk to people about this. 3 years ago, I was in my transition, and I was going through my things, and I was going through my adjustments, and I had to be accountable for knowing that I did what I did wrong, and I don't justify what I did as being right, but I also know I had to pick up the pieces and move forward. A lot of times a moment happens and we're just like, okay, I'm just going to sit right here and I'm going to be stuck in this rut, and I'm comfortable and I'm happy and I'm satisfied. But in reality, are you really satisfied? And do you really skip out or miss out on the potential or the opportunity to have and go for more? And that's something we don't do enough, and that's something that I have been learning to do more. And I truly, I know, let me say this before I continue. This is going to consist of and include a bunch of I's and me's, because I'm the only person talking. But it's take me out of the equation and put yourself into the equation, and think of what you should be doing to better yourself and embrace your future. And then that ties into what my motivation was for this year. This year was kind of a given, because between having management kind of come and go the way it has, and between talking with people the way that I have, and also realizing how life has just come full circle, everything to me is truly about branding. And I never realized how serious it was until my parents were kind of instilled in like realizing this. And I just realized as I'm doing this will probably go on my personal blog, on my personal vlog, since I haven't done any YouTube vlogs for y'all in like so long. And you couldn't keep me off YouTube. I would sit there, well, today's story, we about to talk about da 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 da. Now I've kind of stepped back off of the video game, but I think the video game might pick up. Just letting y'all know early offhand, just something to think about. But it's been about the brand. And I know for me, and this, matter of fact, since I'm putting this into the YouTube platform, I'm going to use YouTube as the perfect example. YouTube is like an undercover microscope. It's a secret microscope, and here's why I say a secret or an undercover microscope. Anything you say offline when YouTube shuts down is being acknowledged and is being processed. Now, whether you realize it is being processed or being acknowledged is a whole nother, it's a whole new world. No, I'm just kidding. It's a whole nother scenario. And I think we sometimes forget that, because we're so thinking that, oh, nobody's going to see this video, it's not going to get out there to the masses. But in reality, it does. All it takes is for one person to tell another person to tell another person before eventually it's known, hey, here's what he talked about, and here's what you said, and here's why you shouldn't have said this and this. I always give this story, and I know I'm kind of like non-identifying, but I'm gonna identify so I can give you all a true perspective. I had a job with a company, I won't say the company's name, but while I was working there, I found it in my best interest to put a little bit of information out in the public that I didn't need to put in the public. And it was me expressing my personal thoughts, which were my thoughts, and they were how I felt. But it's the definition of the First Amendment with an asterisk, meaning you have the freedom of speech, but you also can't just up and say something and think it's okay. Because if you say it, there can be consequences with what you say, let alone what you do. So in this case, it was what I wrote. I wrote what I felt, and it practically, if not nearly, lost me my job. So it was a lesson. It was a huge learning curve, and it was a huge lesson that I embrace to this day. And I tell people, be careful what you say, be careful what you do. Like, there are always folks watching. Don't get me wrong, like, it's never a bad thing to go on social media and have venting sessions. Just have venting sessions in the right way, and don't do nothing stupid and not think somebody is going to get back to somebody. And this is another thing, and I'm gonna leave you all with this. And this is literally not even a target. This isn't a stab. This isn't a shade tree. This is just me addressing the obvious. It's 2017. Yes, we have Facebook. Yes, we have Twitter. Yes, we have Periscope, Snapchat, Instagram, live videos, etc. We have all of these social platforms to express how we feel about different things. If there's something you really need to talk to someone about, talk to them. Send them a message. Call them. Email them. Like, you have ways of contacting people. Don't sit and use a social media outlet to talk about someone, and that person may never see it, or may have no clue that you're talking about them, let alone if they do know you're talking about them, then they're going to turn around and do a subliminal message towards you, and now you're having a subliminal conversation back and forth with nobody accomplishing anything out of that conversation. Now you're both, as I was mentioning earlier, you're both affecting your own brand as well as the other person's brand. You're tarnishing someone's brand that they don't even know their brand is being tarnished, and then other people are trying to sit and say, "Oh, you okay? What's wrong? Do you need to talk to somebody? You need a shoulder to lean on?" And this is an added bonus. I know I'm like, okay, this is another thing, and this will be like, no, this is something that's really serious. Don't go on social media, especially Facebook, and talk about something expecting a pity party or expecting everyone to like stop and sulk and feel sorry for you. I don't know what it is, but we want others to feel sorry for us when it's like we have nothing that others should really feel sorry for. And I don't understand that. So I'm leaving this message with everyone in knowing, keep control of your brand. This is defined as your brand. I'm not using that literally, but in a figurative speech. Keep control of your brand. Keep it under wraps. Keep it in your power, in your possession. Once you lose that control or lose that power, there's not much. I mean, you can regain it, but you got to regain it on your, on your terms. You can't force it. And I think sometimes we try to force that control back, and then we realize that by forcing it, we ended up not getting the result we were looking for in the first place. So those are my messages I'm leaving with you all. Enjoy the summer. Put your plans in motion. If you have activities you need to work on, do them. Don't just do it just to say you did it. Like, do it because you really mean it. Be authentic. Like, being authentic helps and goes a long way. And that's for myself. Everything that I'm saying to you all, this applies to me as well. Like, I am guilty, and I have been working around the clock with maintaining a brand. I've maintained my podcast brand pretty well. My personal brand has been under construction for a while, and I'll be the first to admit that, because there are things that I know I need to do, and in order for me to do them, I have to get me on track to do them. And that's what I've mostly been doing. And I'm not looking for anybody to feel sorry for me or show any pity for me, because I've placed myself in that position to be where I am from where I was to where I'm headed. So those are my messages and my thoughts to you. Shout out to Blue Yeti microphone for the mic. Y'all know I like to talk about it, to be a hype about it. And now, I don't know if y'all can see it or not. This is my game. This is a little chair that I've talked about it in a couple of posts. But this is my relaxation chair. Like, I kind of just sit in this chair, and you can see me doing anything from gaming to just podcast prepping or something. But I just wanted to come on and kind of resurrect my personal YouTube for a little bit, talk about some things, get a few thoughts on some paper, and just share with you all how I feel about these things, but also let you know, like, hey, it's gonna be okay if you have a moment or have a situation occur, and it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. I want people to really like emphasize and understand that. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you made it through the entire 13 minutes. I was hoping it would be longer than 15, because I was wanting to test out my 15-minute option. I may do a podcast on my podcast page. If you're not following past podcasts, I do post on YouTube through that channel. It's coming and going. I'm still kind of getting the kinks for it. I think I may finally have it together after I finally did the 15-minute verification, because I would upload videos, and instead of it being one solid video, it would be a couple of videos here and there, and it wouldn't come out the way I wanted. So I'm improving on that. Everything's a work in progress, as y'all know. Work on building and maintaining your brand. Your brand is like a website. You can't just have one design and that be the end of it. You have to build it and keep building on it and keep enhancing it and keep changing it. And I hope you all enjoyed listening, tuning in, watching, however you check this out. And until next time, let me unhook my hand. Y'all take it easy. All right, peace.